All right, we're live. Look at that. That's awesome. All right, good morning. Good morning. It's been a heck of a weekend. We had Canadian Thanksgiving. We hosted a bunch of my wife's family last night. It was a lot of fun. I have two brothers-in-law on that side of the family. I guess one brother-in-law um and my sister's partner. We didn't get to see them this weekend. I talked to my brother-in-law from that side. They were heading out of town, and well, hopefully I'll get together with them soon. I've got a couple of chores to do today, so I'm not going to be on too long. I just did my walk on the treadmill for 15 minutes, watching some Doctor Who. So I'm in a bit of a British mood watching um, the characters there. I can't remember the name of well, Doctor Who's name is Doctor Who. Christopher Eccleston, Eccleston, something like that. And Billy Piper plays the other woman, his partner in time travel there. Um, I don't know why I can't remember her name or the character's name. Anyway, so I'm on. I guess it's an earlier an earlier season of a reboot from the original show. I've been enjoying watching a couple episodes. I'm on the third episode of it, and it's a campy show, right? Doctor Who's always been super campy. It was extra campy back in the days of special effects being not as computer generated. But I think even the original this original season of the reboot is a little older and a little it's still a little campy. But you know what? They do a great job. And I was actually thinking this morning as I was watching it, the the people they have acting in the show do a very excellent job of being their characters. And I guess that's what actors do. And since I've been talking about voice acting and whatnot, I guess I should be learning about that and finding out something about being that. On the other hand, I can easily be myself and be authentic. So excuse me. Sorry. I'm aware that I'm kind of up against someone who is far better and more professional than I am, who's part of the atheist community, and that's Chris. And I highly recommend going and checking out the Damn Show, the DAM Daily Atheist Morning Show. I was watching that this morning and saw many folks that I consider friends and part of our great community. I saw Mikey Famine. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but Mikey. I always see him over at the 604 Atheist show, and he's on another show which is escaping me at the moment. I'm terrible with names, but yeah, Mikey was there saying hello. I saw Bree over there. Bree's got Hive. She's on the Hive Sci show, her own show, and then she's also on Transpositions. I saw Ember. She's amazing. She has her own show and also on Transpositions. Um, I saw Crystal there. Pragmatic Crystal was over there, so that was awesome. And yeah, no, it's just been it's I think there was other folks there. Trees was there. Look at the trees. Left-handed Jedi. People you can just count on being around, being great supporters, and I appreciate that. And I also realize I can't set my schedule to be on at a certain time because that's just the life I'm living, and I've got a few minutes now. And I started last night. I came across, and this is from Sea Lion Prime posted that he'd made an AI song, and I started listening to it. I'm like, this is pretty good. And they shared when they shared, they also shared where they made the song, and I was like, well, I've been looking for something that can take some of my lyrics and make them into some quick AI music, so I can share some of my thoughts about people. So I thought I would share some of that, but also talk about Thanksgiving for a minute because Thanksgiving is something I missed talking about. And one of my friends in the community, also Brainless was there, not to be confused with Brainless Beaver, who's someone in the flat Earth community. Sometimes I think they're also doing soft sit stuff. They're a fellow Canuck, but not that Brainless. The Brainless Steel, um, one of my excellent friends from Slim Cyborg's community. Um, He's the co-host of Slim's show, which is on most weekdays, Monday to Thursday, sometimes Fridays, and they also go over to Pip's stream for gaming, and she's back at it as of, I think, last week. I wasn't able to join. We've had a busy weekend. I haven't been able to participate in many things. Yesterday was a holiday Monday for us here in Canada, and with my illness, of course, I've been off. I've been off of everything, so I haven't been working in a traditional sense here, and I haven't been getting paid for anything. I've been putting some time and effort into thinking about my fellowship, because that's about all I can do. My fellowship isn't really a job; it's a volunteer thing, and they cover some of my expenses, which I appreciate, because it does take some time and effort, and having a computer and internet and all that kind of stuff costs some money, and then the travel to go to a couple of conferences and be away from work for a day or two. It kind of just sort of blend. It just kind of makes it so it doesn't cost me money out of pocket to do something that I enjoy doing, and so I'm thankful for that. Thanksgiving is a bit of a funny thing, because it's been portrayed as something where we had the pilgrims and the indigenous communities meeting for a feast, and that's how it was portrayed to us as kids, and that's mostly an American sort of portrayal. In Canada, our Thanksgiving, I was told always as a kid, I don't know if this is true, that our harvest is a little earlier, and so our harvest festival is a little earlier, but the Thanksgiving feast does coincide fairly closely with the autumnal equinox in the northern hemisphere. It would be I guess it would be the opposite for the folks that we know and love down in the southern hemisphere, and we certainly have quite a few Australian friends, maybe even a couple of Kiwis. And then, of course, and I have my globe here. I always have my globe here handy. So, like, one of the things people may not think about is, like, most of Africa is not that far south, but some of the big places in Africa where we know a lot of people, because English is spoken to some degree, and we tend to run into people from South Africa quite a bit. And I've had the great pleasure of meeting people. Now, this is a really old globe, so, and maybe this is an interesting thing to look at, is what the globe is like changing hands. But South Africa is in the southern hemisphere, and it's part of Africa. But then this one is labeled with things that people probably would not recognize today. Now, Kenya is here, um, the Congo is here, but it's called the Belgian Congo. This is an old globe. This is the way things were labeled. There's also the Federation of Rhodesia. Mozambique, I think we know, and Madagascar, they're the same. There's it's labeled as Somaliland, which I think we know as Somalia, but there's also some other places in there, and there's Eritrea is there, and Ethiopia and Sudan, and then there's Equatorial Africa, Nigeria and Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, Liberia. Like, a bunch of these places are still there, but there's also it's Mauritania and French Sudan and French West Africa. Like, there's all in Algeria are here, so we recognize Algeria. So it's kind of weird to have this old globe here that I'm looking at with things that are not what we recognize. And then even in Europe, I see like Yugoslavia, right, and Slovakia. Oh, wait a second. That's just a really bad printing of Czechoslovakia. But also so that's now the Czech Republic. Hungary is still Hungary. Bulgaria is still Bulgaria. And there's Albania. And I have one of the friends that I work with in the fellowship is from Albania originally. It's a cool little spot there. It's next to Greece, and I guess Yugoslavia became, I think, Croatia, and I just can't remember. And I'm not someone that knows a lot about world politics or history. It's not what I've been paying attention to. So, in my country is still here, written as Canada, Newfoundland, and Labrador are there. So it's new enough that Newfoundland is part of Canada. It's so it's interesting though, because there's other places in the world that have had a lot more turmoil. the what is now Russia is actually listed as the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and Leningrad is on here. Poland's on here. Um, Romania is on here, and interestingly, Romania is spelled here Rumania, and I usually see it with an Roma. Romania is usually what I see. Now, I'm thankful for the fact that I live in a part of the globe where, despite what's gone on in the past, things are relatively peaceful right here. Because I live in Canada, where it's cold here, a lot of ice and snow, and I guess maybe that's why people aren't constantly trying to invade us. Down south of me, there's a lot of talk about why people might be trying to invade them. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that some places are so rough to live in that people would live anywhere else. And I think that's forgotten. And we should be thankful. Those of us that don't live in places like that should be thankful that that's not the case for us. And also, and I think this is super important too. We should try to welcome with open arms and give what we can. And I've been hearing a lot of that recently. I've been feeling a little bit bad that I can't have extra dollars for donating to things which I've done in the past. And I'm trying to look at that. I'm trying to look at where I'm at with that. I do feel like my is a little low. So hopefully it's not too bad though. Hopefully you're hearing it. Now, I don't seem to have anyone here watching, which is fine. People may rewatch, and I greatly appreciate when people do that. What I thought I would do though is share a little bit of the music, and you're going to be thankful for the fact that that my sorry about the coughing there. Looks like my voice may come back now. Of course, I've been suffering from a lung infection recovery, and I've actually been feeling super weak in the lungs all weekend, and I'm not sure why. It started at some point last week. I am trying to practice my breathing and improve it. Now, I do feel bad that nobody's here watching to see what I'm going to share here, but I'm going to share this regardless. And I got to look at how this works, right? Share screen, and then I'm going to go to this, right? And then so that'll take me here or here. No, this one, library. Okay, this is what I want here. I just got to make sure I'm sharing the right one. There we go. This is the one I'm going to share here. So let me see that it's looking right here. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. Okay. So what's going to happen is I'm gonna share a couple of my songs that I made here, and I'm thinking about I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let them play and see what happens.
When you were wrong today, you look up in the sky. You can't see the angles, you don't even try. You glow even whether you're right or you're wrong. I wish I was stupid, you're so fucking stupid. But I'm no flirt, I'm a grower. What the fuck am I doing here? I can't believe this, I can't lose these cells. I wanna teach you true, I want a stellar body, I want lunar Orlando, I want you to know this, Earth is fucking round, so fucking stupid. I wish I was stupid, but I lose these cells. I wanna teach you true, I want a stellar body, I want lunar Orlando, I want you to know this, Earth is fucking round. So fucking stupid, I wish so stupid. What the fuck am I doing here? What the fuck am I doing here? I can't believe this. 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 I can't lose these cells. I wanna teach a troll. I wanna teach a troll. I want a stellar body. I want lunar Albie. I want go. I want Lunar Albedo. My first run for the door. I want Lunar Albedo. I want you to know. Let's run for the door. Let's run for the door. Run. They seem that we're spinning. Spin, 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 spin. Whatever makes perfect sense. Whatever fits
Hopefully this is
along.
sounding good.
You have to ignore. You have to ignore. You're so fucking stupid.
I'm not sure how this is coming out, but I'm enjoying it. Maybe not the best one that they've done with this. So I wrote the lyrics to this a while back. Another one coming. You can play this one.
Life is like a simile for a metaphorical word that has no analogs, and euphemistically, I'll call it pain of broken glass, shattered fragments of fluid sands, the tiny grid of a trillion bands that stretch the music of a windy cove that houses the uterus of a stone-cold hoe. She lies in slumber as a mountain might and crumbles softly in the bite. Lashed fast to a mizzen mast with glances cast and broken bond, covalent, coherent, and focused on me. A green faded memory of a foamy sea. The dye of the hydrogen holds on to the oxygen, and it eats the iron for eternity. Origin, rusty rhyme is dusty, line is crusty. She's pretty busty, moldy clay in a ship crashed bay. The bird is wide and glaring, can't stop staring at my lace of throat. Eating goats for supper, dripping juices from a scupper. The waves are crashing, the people keep trashing. Any other thought can't be bought by $1 or a coin. Boing, boing, bingo, barbecue dingo, flat out beach ball. Follies of words so absurd, you can't stop eating tapioca stirred like a night of driving limp eyes and jiving to the music in the tires. Stay out of the mires and the moors, keep grinding the beat of the load of meat. Jesus, liquid comments are flip and lyrics can't stop flowing like a river of fire to the iron spire baked in the sun. The gold had a run, it sits on the banks of money, dripping honey. Live hives jive the combs of electric circles, jerking orbits hill of chill drills. The thrill of the dill more than blue pills. It's the balls of a hair down in there. Blood is chewed like cut in the quadrille. Tripe fishing with a pike on dike like similarly superlative stitions. Make conditions tough for us to have luck on a bus full of pus and stones of bones or cave moans. Roger that on a radioactive, pretty attractive gravity. These nuts ain't crazy, I'm not lazy. Eyes for Jones and mountain of tail. Got a pail of tales to share with ginger ale. Route with stout in a root stew. The man is straw, the raven craw. Eating up nonsense like a boiled horse paw. Can you dig the mud? Come in a flood of juicy stones. This dude ain't tripping on continental dragons. He keeps on ragging scales to scale of a stone. Hammer ale is pale like Lawrence, contracted like an infermetric inferno of proton bounce by the ounce of weight. No mass has ass like a bounce pass up the hill and in the valley. Going to a pub with a dude called O'Malley. It's up her alley, Mortar of Mordor. At the door to the cave of the race of a non-stop lunatic. You dig these licks? These licks.
Yeah, this is one I did with Roger Woodruff, and I did another one. I can play the other one. Actually, I think the other one's better. Here we go. Oh, I think I did something weird to this. Yeah. Does this one play? This is the old one, right? See this one. This is a different version of the same song. These are all my lyrics to these songs.
Life is like a simile for a metaphorical word that has no analogs, and euphemistically I'll call it pain of broken glass, shattered fragments of fluid sands, and tiny grid of a trillion bands that stretch the music of a windy cove that houses the uterus of a stone-cold hoe. She lies in slumber as a mountain might and crumbles softly in the bite. Lash fast to a missing mass with glances cast and broken bond, covalent, coherent, and focused on me. A green faded memory of a foamy sea. The dye of the hydrogen holds on to the oxygen and eats the iron for an eternity. Orange and rusty rhyme is dusty, line is crusty. She's pretty busty, moldy clay in a ship crash bay. The bird is wide and glaring, can't stop staring at my lace of throat. Eating goats for supper, and juices from a scupper. And waves are crashing, and people keep trashing. Any other thought can't be bought by $1 or a coin. Boing, boing, bingo, wonky, cute, bingo. Flat out beach ball, volleys of words so absurd. You can't stop eating tapioca custard. Like a night of driving limp eyes and driving to the music in the tires. Stay out the mires and the moors, keep grinding the beat of the load of meat. Jesus, liquid comments afloat, and lyrics can't stop flowing like a river of fire to the iron spire baked in the sun. The gold had a run. baked in the sun. The gold had a run. It sits on the banks of money dripping honey. Live Hodge, jive the combs of electric circles, jerking orbits, hill of Jill drills. The thrill of a deal more than blue pills. It's the balls of the hair down in there. Mud is chewed like cum. The quadrille tried fishing with a pike on dike like similarly superlative stitches. Make conditions tough for us to have luck on a bus full of pus and stones and bones and cave bones. Roger down on a radioactive, pretty attractive gravity. These nuts ain't crazy, I'm not lazy. Eyes for Jones, I'm out in the tail. Got a pail of tails to share with ginger ale. Route with stout in a root stew. The man is straw, the raven craw. Eating up nonsense like a boiled horse paw. Can you dig the mud? Come in a flood of juicy stones. This dude ain't tripping on continental dragons. He keeps on ragged scales. The scale of a stone hammer rail is pale like Lawrence. Contracted like an inframetric. Infer to a proton bounce. While the ounce of weight no mass has ass like a bounce. Bounce pass up the hill and in the valley. Going to a pub with a dude called O'Malley. It's upper alley. Mortar and mortar at the door to the cave of the race of a non-stop moon addict. You dig these licks?
I like this version better than the first one. The rewatch version. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm kind of impressed with how quickly this thing puts together a musical sounding version of my lyrics. Whether you like them or not, I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna share probably another song in a second. I'm gonna go pause this one. There we go. Hey, welcome, Robin. I don't know if you're still here, but good to see you. I think I missed a lot of stuff last week. Between getting ready for stuff and being sick and stuff, but it's great to see you. I think you were on Joe's channel and you rebroadcast on your own channel about your politics take. I enjoy the show when I catch it. It's really good. Robin does a lot of great content. So yeah, Roger is funny. So I was inspired a few months ago to write this song. I sort of wrote this rap song, and I've sort of rapped it out myself, but I'm not very talented, and I don't have the music part of it, right? I can speak into the microphone clearly enough, I think, most of the time, but other stuff I'm not so good at. I'm not sure if I'm doing stuff right with the missing this. Oh, you're moving to your new house. That's right. Well, I knew you were moving soon. I hope that goes smooth, Robin. It's a lot of work to move. One of my least favorite things. I'm wishing you really well with that. But yeah, no, definitely enjoy hearing from you and Joe, and both you and Joe live in Kentucky, which is a state that I think most people associate with I forget which color. You guys are the opposite colors of us. So here the blue signs. Hey, Jester, Lord of Shenaniganery. That's exactly what I got going on here, Jester. I thought you were the Lord of Fools. Wednesday this week. Okay. All right. Well, good luck, Robin. And yeah, no, Joe and Robin live in Kentucky, where I think it's a red. Is it a red state? Like red means liberal here, and blue means conservative. And I always try to think about that for a second, because in the States it's the opposite. So I summoned your ass. All right, Jester, good to see you. Haven't seen a lot of you recently, but I've been on a weird schedule. Yeah, it's a very that's what I'm trying to say. It's a Republican state. You have a lot of this sort of conservatism, which is really weird, because conservatives don't give. I mean, I'm not sure that the liberal side, the left, the Democrats give a fuck about people that much either. But with Trump in charge of the Republicans, holy fuck. I don't know. I'm not a politics person for the most part, because of blue dots in a red state. Yeah, so and Robin, I don't know if it's like other states where sometimes like the bigger built up areas, like the cities will go to a liberal way of thinking, and the rural areas will go to a conservative way of thinking. Remove Tobin. Which one is Tobin? Jester. Like we had a Tobin. Tobin's Newfoundland though. I can't remember. Anyway. Anyway, it's Robin. Happy move. Oh, Robin. Okay, happy move. Yes. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we actually had a politician named Tobin. I was like, I missed that other one. Yes. Have a good move. So I'm gonna play a couple more songs if people are into listening. These are so the songs I'm playing are ones where I wrote the lyrics. I'm trying out this Suno. I actually kind of like it. I might when I get more money, I might subscribe to it. It's $10 a month American, which is a lot. So, and I don't have extra $10 right now, but I might do this and do more because I've written quite a few of these songs. And you get like a couple of credits per day or whatever. So I'm gonna see how that goes. I'm checking Louisville, Lexington both go Democrat. Yeah, so okay. So your big cities are a bit more Democrat. You have a Democratic governor. See, and I think like Georgia's similar. Like Atlanta will vote for I think Atlanta will vote for Democrats in most of its areas, but the rural areas in Georgia are kind of like that. I've heard a lot about that. And a similar thing happens here. I live in a rural area where we have conservative politics sort of leads the day. It makes a little bit more sense where rural areas are often farmers and businesses and business owners will live in more rural areas. It tends to be people that can afford to live like where I live are either super, super poor or super well off. And then there's a few people like me that are just kind of like, we're doing it because we enjoy this lifestyle. So we're pushing ourselves to our limits. But of course, like I married a country girl. And she was kind of like half suburban, half country because she grew up on a farm. And then, yeah, her father was a horse farmer. And anyway, it's a complicated mess, but her parents split at one point, and that's the way it goes. And then yeah, Christian like the idea that Christians who follow Christ, and Christ, famous Republican, Jesus Christ, and Jesus fucking Christ, that doesn't make sense at fucking all. Like evangelical red hats. Yeah, and I'm like the idea that colors get tied to they get tied to politics and stuff is kind of funny too. But I guess you got that like if you're out in LA, I think they have like the gangs of the blue and the red, the Bloods and the Crips or something. I don't even know if that's still a thing. Probably isn't. That was when I was in. Hey, Sumami, good to see you. Yeah, so when I was a young kid, I guess like in my teens, the gang culture of LA was really sort of glorified for I don't know what reason, but there were a bunch of movies about it. And a lot of people wanted to be gangsters. It doesn't make sense to me. Oh, Robbie, yeah, your parents are Trump voters. And you've had more than one argument. I guess the thing is, if you're going to get into politics, it's tough to be in a situation where you're often voting against yourself and your own interests because you believe bullshit or you believe that this trickle down economics thing. They've been talking trickle down economics for a long fucking time and they ain't fucking working. And I'm no economist or political pundit, but the way I see it is that they need us a whole lot more than we need them when it comes to politicians and rich folks. They pretend they're in control and that they're holding all the cards, but we stop buying, they stop making. It's kind of a problem for them. It's kind of something that rich people don't want us to realize is that we're the ones in control. They need our votes. There's way more of us than there is of them. I actually said that on one of Joe's things. Vote for your own interest. Look at what's going on. Vote for your own interest. Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Sumami. Love to have you here. So, I mean, I'm not going to get into politics because, like, that's not my jam. It's not really what I'm into. But what I am going to say is vote. Vote for candidates, and vote for your whole ballot. In the States, you can vote for a bunch of stuff. Here it's the same. You can do that. And Robin, your parents have worked hard, but also benefited from lots of privilege. Yeah, and there's a couple of words that I hate the way we use them, and I will go on a rant if I get into them deep. So I'm gonna give my 2 cents worth, and then I'm gonna play a song that I wrote just the other night. And then I got this version of it out of it, so it's kind of fun. Hopefully people enjoy it. I see people mostly came and started talking after I was playing music, so maybe that's an indication that that's good. Jester's never seen a water fountain work by allowing a bit of water to trickle in from the top. Well, if it's a water fountain that works with pulling water out of an aquifer, it does require rain to fall and then trickle down into the aquifer. So there is a way that that works. The thing is, a lot of raindrops have to trickle. And that's what you know, the man that thinks he owns the ocean may forget where the rain originally came from and how many little drops had to fall in there. And how many of them had to fall on the land and trickle in. And that's the thing is that the trickling comes from the work of the many, not from the hoarding of the few. So my word to everybody is vote for your own interest, purchase in your own interests. Vote with your dollars and vote with the vote you have when you go. Find out what you can about what's going on, what people's actual platforms are, what they want to do to help you to use your tax dollars in your interest. And if that's not what they're doing, if they're mostly trying to help the rich, to help corporations aren't people. You can work for a corporation, that's fine. I work for a corporation. I've owned some corporations. So I used to be a business person. I used to run my own business. It was a small business. But you know what? This ain't this is not how things work. In the best interest of people, if you could work and have your tax dollars taken and spent on things that help infrastructure for all, and that's what they should do, and the money that you keep should be able to give you food and shelter and clothing and some way to enjoy your free time that is reasonable. And by reasonable, I mean something you can afford to do and enjoy doing. And we could all afford to do a lot of shit with all the money that's in the world. And then, you see pictures of what goes on in really, really poor places, and people are dirt poor. And the thing is, so this is the thing I hate about the word privilege. Because privilege usually applies to people that have had a little bit of luck in their life in where they were born, and that luck has led to them just being treated like normal people. And sometimes the luck leads to someone being treated to something a little bit better and a little bit further along than other things. And I can tell you this. This is something that I've noticed, and something that I'm acutely aware of right now, is that my privilege of being a person who has long held a job. I've been well established for a long time. It's easier for me to get credit, so it's easier for me to get money to buy things that are just out of my reach, or would be out of my reach in most conditions of time before the age of credit. And the thing is, credit indebts you greatly. And one of the things that's interesting about like the current market in Canada is that like a decent family home in the area I live in costs nearly $1 million, or maybe even over $1 million Canadian dollars. And good morning, Wendy. So the thing is, so I've been looking at the paperwork. So I have a mortgage for lots and lots of money. And let's just say if it was $1 million, just to use a round number, over the course of the time that you have a mortgage, you pay that $1 million back to who lent it to you, in my case, a bank, and another $1 million for the privilege of borrowing the money, which means that for me, as a working class person, a person who's working class but well established, has a decent secure job, have shown that I've earned a certain amount of money every year of my life. And this year will be the first year that like I'm doing really badly because of being off work for being ill. Oh yes, you have a wrench. You're welcome. Jester, I'm going to give you a wrench too, because Jester deserves one, because they just do. And I don't know how to do this. There we go. There we go. Jester has a wrench, and now I accidentally hit the wrong thing here. You have a fancy wrench. Yes, indeed, Wendy. Wendy, you're a great person, and you're a great supporter of mine. I love seeing you here, and I saw you and Jen were doing a show the other day, and I've noticed DC's been doing a lot of streaming, and DC has been threatening to go for joining me on a stream or something. And I just got to check this. Yeah, I got to run out to the grocery store. My wife's just reminding me. And so this is going to be short, right? Mod's channel. Yeah, everybody has a wrench. Yeah, and that's in Slim's channels like that too. So I'm going to start playing another song. But when it comes to privilege, I find that what they're really talking about is people being treated like shit. People being treated like shit makes people that have just normal, basic baseline shit seem like they're in a privileged position when they're really just having what everyone should have. I got to bring home some bacon, Sumami. That is true. I got to get back to work, and actually, I got to go to the grocery store because my wife has found out. Literally, I might get bacon if it's on sale, but what my wife really needs me to do is go get turkey because turkeys are on sale, and I got to go get some, and she's worried about it, so I've got to go get that. So I'm probably gonna wrap this up in 15 minutes, and I know I've threatened to do that before, but I'm gonna throw some real pants on. I'm wearing pants just in case anybody's worried. But I'm gonna put on some outdoor pants and go to the grocery store. Um, my phone and my computer, my son's computer, keep wanting to be together. So yeah, so I'm gonna play another song. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Which one is the best one? I think this one's a good one. This is like an 80s style thing. I originally wrote this to be like Eurythmics.
Make me scream. The succubus, she wants my cream. Christian love torments the scene. Everybody's looking for some sin. Some of them want to preach ghouls. Some of them want to cheat some fools. Some of them want to disabuse them. Some of them want to light the fuse. Demon dreams are making me scream. Who am I to save my peace? I spun the wheel and I purchased an E. Everybody's looking for some sin. Some of them want to preach ghouls. Some of them want to cheat some fools. Some of them want to disabuse them. Some of them want to light the fuse. Demon dreams are making me scream. Who am I to save my peace? I spun the wheel and I purchased an E. Everybody's looking for some sin. Hold your cross up, crusade on. Keep the cross up, fight trade on. I smack my head, big face palm. Smack my head, brain cells gone. Focus in my head, a ton of face palm. Smack my head and the demon's gone. Wanted some cash to fight demon. JC's gone, now move along. Some of them have been haunted. Some of them want to be possessed. Some of them want to delude you. Some of them want to see you nude. Sweet cream is made by D. Who I am to look at the trees. I pray for rapture from the big JC. Everybody seeing empty caves. Rising Messiah from shallow grave. Who am I to ask to be saved? I cut my hair with a big dog blade.
Okay, I'm slowing that one down. I like that one. I'm finding that this thing sort of automatically did like a couple of each one, and so I wasn't sure how good that was. But hopefully people enjoyed that a little bit. So yeah, and I played a couple earlier when nobody was here. I played some, which might have been kind of dumb. So I do appreciate any feedback. I'm finding the sounds a little tinny on my son's computer here. Hopefully the mic isn't picking it up. I also am finding it weird that like the little the audio thing is not showing me a lot of what's going on. So I hope the audio levels are good. And yeah, so I'm gonna I was talking about how I don't like the word privilege because really what it is you started with a good baseline. You know, you're even with the ground was like way too even, and other people are like starting buried in a hole with no shovel. And that's the way it shouldn't be. And so like, you know, people that have all these things stacked against them makes it look like people that just don't have the obstacles are in a position of privilege. And I think we should stop calling it privilege, and we should start like, it's good to sort of put in perspective for people that just don't have as many obstacles. where they're at. But and obstacles are something we need to talk about, and something that I often think about this when I'm dealing with explaining to people what it's like to live with obesity. Simple things like getting into a chair that's too narrow for you to fit into. Something that happens to me a lot. And other people that live with obesity are even more well endowed in the posterior region, so to speak. And it's even more uncomfortable for them. It's even more difficult for them. Um, I have I have the I'll call it a privilege just for the sake of putting it that way, just to show I have the privilege of carrying my excess adipose tissue mostly in my belly. And so sometimes I can get a seatbelt to just go around me if I keep it like under my belly on an airplane, but it usually is just barely fits because I'm still very large, but I'm not the kind of large where I'm carrying it in my legs and my butt as much. They're a little bit more muscular, but that also is a problem because being too muscular is not what they built the airplanes for either. In fact, I don't think they built the airplanes for any normal person. I think they got a bunch of 10-year-olds and said, okay, can we put 500 10-year-olds on here? And they're like, okay, good. 10-year-olds don't really fly, but at least they fit. And then they bring the adults on board. But I mean, of course, people come in all shapes and sizes. But this is the thing: is like, is it a privilege to be a smaller person? Is it a privilege to be a larger person? You know, that kind of thing. Like, or is it just like it works for things? And then this little baby turkey thing that Sumami's talking about, I'm not too sure about, but I am going to go grab a couple of turkeys. I'm going to freeze them because my wife and I really like to do a roasted turkey or a roast of some sort, at least once a month if we can afford the meat. And oftentimes it's the most affordable meat that's on sale. We do that, and then we will make it into something. And she's found out where there's some cheaper stuff, so I'm off to go get it in a little bit because this is like one of those things where we're making sure that we're stretching our dollars as much as we can. But we're lucky to have them, and we're lucky to have the mobility to go and check out where something cheaper is, and actually put the effort into finding it. So that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully I still have some because it was, like I said, Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. I talked a bit about that, and I am thankful for that. I'm thankful to be here. And I also, what I didn't get into is, like, people in the Indigenous community, they're a group that has the lack of privilege, if you will, or they don't have this lack of obstacle in their way. And I've met and worked with some people from Aboriginal or Indigenous communities, and I don't want to use a word that makes them offended. So it's important. And yes, Dave, when meat is on sale, Mrs. Desk fills the chest freezer. Well, Mrs. Trucker texted me twice to make sure I go get this cheap meat. And I'm gonna be redoing Salmonella Cook a Turkey, which is the children's story I wrote that's not for children. I do highly recommend checking out the existing version. If you're celebrating Thanksgiving right now or getting over it, you might want to, or even if you've been, maybe you ate some bad meat and you need a story of commiseration, on my channel somewhere. Salmonella Cook a Turkey is my children's book. It's the first children's book I've written, and it is definitely not for children. Although, preteens, maybe not, but teenagers find it amusing to some degree. But my kids are embarrassed by me, which is obviously what you expect, right? I think my niece and nephews are embarrassed by me too, but they don't know I'm here, which is good because my kids are so embarrassed they won't let them know. They won't let their cousins know that I exist here, doing funny stuff like writing weird lyrics and stuff. So I think I'm gonna look at playing one more song maybe. But like, I mean, so many people missed the Roger one, right? But that one's good. This one I think is good. Hopefully,
To those who mean it does matter, you have to make them collide. You'll always shoot them all about, but don't see them when they fly. You say maybe it's just not long enough. charm spin. No, not like a school. These beams they send down to the large size, gonna shoot itty bitty particles.
This is a different version of it. I think this one might be the better sounding one. Yeah, this one's better. But it makes a few. No, let's use.
You posing me with this matter, you'd have to make them collide. You're always shooting them all about, but don't see them when they fly. You say maybe it's just not long enough, charm them spin, no, not like a school. These beams we've sent down to the large size, gonna shoot itty bitty blows, let those quarks collide. The Higgs, you say, your mind comes just to go away. These things decay, they're indivisible.
What's that? Quark, what's that?
You posing me with those matters, you'd have to make them collide. I'm always holed up at CERN, but set both ways, particles have to stop. Just splitting down to more than one is more than a display. But this is a far collide, a really large tube, and cleave out one through. The Higgs, you say, your one comes just to go away. These things decay, they're indivisible.
What else was charm?
Okay, so I mean I don't know if people are enjoying that or not. People aren't talking when I'm doing that, and I've driven people away from the view counter. So obviously, like that was terrible. I get where people are coming from there. So I think I got to go back to Roger. I got to play the Roger from Mud Fossil one. This one here.
Life is like a simile for a
No,
metaphorical.
this one here. This is a good one. The Roger from Mud Fossil.
Life is like a simile for a metaphorical word that has no analogs, and euphemistically, I'll call it pain of broken glass, shattered fragments of fluid sands, and tiny grid of a trillion bands that stretch the music of a windy cove that houses the uterus of a stone cold hoe. She lies in slumber as a mountain light and crumbles softly in the bite, lash fast to a missing mass with glances cast, a broken bond, covalent, coherent, and focused on me, a green faded memory of a phony sea. The dye of the hydrogen holds on to the oxygen and eats the iron for an eternity. Orange and rusty rhyme is dusty, lime is crusty. She's pretty busty, moldy clay in a ship crash bay. The bird is wide and glaring, can't stop staring at my lace of throat. Eating goats for supper, and juices from a supper, and waves are crashing, and people keep trashing. Any other thought can't be bought by a dollar or a coin. Boing, boing, bingo, blocky, cute bingo, flat out beach ball, volleys of words so absurd. You can't stop eating tapioca custard, like a night of driving limp eyes and driving to the music in the tires. Stay out the mires and the moors, keep grinding. The beat of the load of meat, cheeses, liquid comments afloat, and lyrics can't stop flowing like a river of fire to the iron spire, baked in the sun, but gold had a run.
Yeah,
It baked in the sun, the gold had a run. It sits on the banks of money, dripping honey, live hives, jive the cones of electric circles, jerking orbits, hill of Jill drills. The thrill of a deal more than blue pills. It's the balls of the hair down in there, mud is chewed like cud. The quadrille, try fishing with a pike on dike like similarly superlative stations make conditions tough for us to have luck on a bus full of pus and stones of bones. So cave moans, Robert down on a radioactive, pretty attractive gravity. These nuts ain't crazy, I'm not lazy. Eyes for Jones, I'm out in the tail, got a pail of tales to share with ginger ale. Route with stout in a root stew. The man is straw, the raven craw, eating up nonsense like a boiled horse paw. Can you dig the mud? Come in a flood of juicy stones. This dude ain't tripping on continental dragons. He keeps on ragging scales, the scale of a stone hammer. Rail pale like Lawrence, contracted like an infermetric inferno, a proton bounce. While the ounce of weight, the mass has ass like a bounce, pass up the hill and in the valley. Going to a pub with a dude called O'Malley. It's upper alley, mortar and mortar at the door to the cave of the race of a non-stop moon addict. You dig these licks?
Yeah, so I enjoy that one a lot. I enjoy, and yeah, Roger, he's hilarious. I've never really covered like a Roger video per se, but I did one with the one time I was in Bad Science Sunday, they did a Roger Mud Fossil one, and I did some prep for it. And yeah, I don't think they were prepped for me, and I also didn't count on how long it was going to take to be on there, and I had to leave after the first hour because it was late, and I had to work the next day. That's the one bad thing about being being a heavy hauler is you do it early in the morning. And yeah, no it's important doing heavy haul on a lot of routes. You can't do it when it's dark. You have a very limited day, especially at this time of year. You start to lose daylight. It's fucked. And I've been in the wintertime, I've brought equipment and I've had to like quit driving before I'm out of hours just because of that. So you like, ideally you leave early in the morning with an empty truck that you can drive on whatever roads, which doesn't always work. Like a lot of times you're oversized to begin with, but you just leave early. You can drive on the big highway. Generally speaking, you drive on like the 401, so which is the big highway that goes across the southern half of the province, and well, it's not even a half. The southern part of the province is really small in comparison with the big ass part of it. But man, Ontario's big. I'm looking at it here. Like Ontario stretches New York. Like Ontario is most of New York across, and most of, like, I mean, if you were drawing a line like New York and Pennsylvania, it's like all the way across both of those. Ohio and Michigan and Wisconsin and Minnesota. Not all of Minnesota, but most of it. That's to get all the way across to the edge of it. And if you drew a line down from Ontario down, you'd hit the border between Louisiana and Texas. If you drew the line straight down, and then I'm looking at a globe here, and then there isn't any America left. If you draw a line down from Ontario all the way through down to as far as south as Texas, you're out in like you're about the edge of Cuba. The eastern edge of Cuba is pretty much in line with the eastern edge of Ontario, although the globe sort of widens up that way, so maybe that's not quite right. But anyway, it wouldn't you'd be out in the ocean anyway. That's sort of the thing, right? So it gives you an idea how long the province is, but then it's tall. It goes all the way from the border with like Detroit, Michigan, like way down in the south end, and it's Ohio, Michigan, around Lake Erie, and where they go, that's the bottom south end of it, and the north end goes all the way up into Hudson Bay. So it's tall. It's not as tall as Quebec. Quebec's a little bigger. I think Quebec's bigger in general, and then it's just the way it is. And all our eastern provinces are kind of small, but Newfoundland and Labrador, again, pretty big, and there's not a lot going out there. So I'd like to go to Labrador. I haven't driven there. I've driven to every other province. I've been in every province, and commercially I've been in every province except Prince Edward Island. But Labrador I haven't been to, which is just kind of like an official piece of land that it's connected to Newfoundland. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. Anyway, like I said, I got to wrap the show up. I got to get some pants on that are suitable for going outdoors, because I'm not a college kid. If I was a college kid, I'd go out in my pajamas or something, right? That seems to be what they do, but that's not what I do. And hopefully I'll find some turkey. I did also write this song I originally wrote to sort of be like Creep from Radiohead, and I didn't get quite that out of it, but I'll play this. I'll play a little bit of this just to give the flavor. I'll give the flavor of this one, and then if I get money at some point, I'll subscribe to this and I'll make more of it, because I definitely have more lyrics than I have.
When you were wrong today.
This one is good. I think this is a better one. I think this is a better one. I don't know. Don't forget to listen to subscribe my stream.
You can't see the angles.
Going sub. I think everybody here.
Don't even try.
Subscribe to
You call it even weather.
this one's sort of
You're right or you're wrong. I wish I was stupid. You're so fucking stupid, but I'm no flirt. I'm a goldmine. What the fuck am I doing here? I can't believe this. I can't lose these subs. I I wanna teach a troll. I wanna smell a body. I want looter or better. I want you to know
Doesn't know how to
this.
pronounce Albedo.
Earth is fucking round, so fucking stupid. I wish I was stupid,
Yeah, I kind of like.
but I'm no flirt.
It's not exactly like.
I'm Chloe, what the fuck did I just hear? So wrong here. Let's run to the door. The scene that was spinning, spin, 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 spin. Whatever makes perfect sense, whatever fits the model, you have to ignore. You're so fucking stupid. I wish I was stupid, but I'm no flirt. I'm a Chloe. What the fuck did I just hear? You're so wrong here. Flirt's running for the door. They see that we're spinning. Spin, 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 spin. Whatever makes perfect sense, whatever fits the model, you have to ignore. You have to ignore. You're so wrong, am I doing here? These deniers of sphere, flirts deny our home sphere.
So yeah, so there it is. There's my lyrics that I sort of wrote to replace the lyrics of "Creep" by Radiohead, and that was certainly not like a Radiohead version of that, but that's what I asked it to do. Because like you can just give it some, you just put the lyrics in, or you can. I think you can even just say you want it to be on a topic, and it just writes you one. But I like the fact that it takes my lyrics because like I work a little bit to make these lyrics, right? And I've got a few more I'd like to do. So yeah, I'd like to know if people are enjoying them like I am because I'm finding them fun, but I'm also finding the audio is really tinny here on my son's laptop. So when I was listening to them last night, I was listening to them on headphones and I actually thought they sounded better. So I'd like to know if people are if you put in the comments if they're enjoying them, if you're running away because they're shit, or it could be just because somebody awesome is streaming. And like I said when I started, Chris is already streaming on his Daily Atheist Morning Show, which is it's a new show to me. I don't know how long he's been doing that show for in the sort of morning weekday time slot, but it's a great show. Great time over there. He brings up some fantastic points, and I think this morning he had sort of like a theist who had made a video in response to something he'd said, and he was responding to that, which is good. I like the back and forth. Like maybe somebody wants to make a video telling me why I'm wrong. You know, I got a lot of fucking opinions. And you made a couple of songs for Suno, to SNT. Oh, okay, all right, awesome, Dave. Okay, so well, Dave, let me know if you think I've done an okay job with these. You know what, Dave, I don't know if I knew it was Suno, but I remember the last time I was on your channel, I was digging the music, so and I remember you actually even like uploaded like this is one of these. So I have to pay for it to use it commercially. I don't know if this is commercially, but you know, I've just sort of been sharing them here with the community. You know, I don't get that many viewers on a weekday morning, but I love that people come by, sharing some of the music here. So if you're on a rewatch, you know, let me know what you think there too. And I realize, you know, engaging with chat isn't always possible. I'm often, you know, when I'm driving, I'm in the truck, I'm just listening, and I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, oh, I hope I'll get to a red light so I can like open the phone and like tag, like I'll do like a speech to text, but like if I have my phone set on GPS, I can't really do that. I'm just sort of listening on the radio or listening on my headset. My headset died, so I bought a really cheap one off of Amazon for $35. So the one I have for work is a $250 headset that I bought like over 3 years ago. And I'm like, holy fuck, what's gonna happen here? So yeah, so I'm gonna figure this out. But I like that other headset. I might replace it properly, but I got to get back to work to afford that. But it like the other one's just dead. It won't. The microphone doesn't work. The headset doesn't connect to anything properly anymore. I'll try charging it up again and see. Like, I've just left it. I'll see if I let it completely discharge and charge it up again if it'll like reset or something. And I'll try hooking it up something else. As long as you aren't making money on them. Okay. Yeah. So Dave, and you know what? I'm happy to, if I was making money on them, I'd be happy to do it. And, like 15 American isn't that much money, but it's like, it's basically like $13 Canadian a month. I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put money into it. I'm just not willing to do it when I'm not in financially good shape. And I just dropped $35 on a headset. But I'm basically, I'm sitting at home and I need to be able to listen to stuff and work and like work on chores around the house. I got to be able to do something. And the thing is, I get winded and tired so easily. I still can't go back to work. Like I've been thinking about it all weekend. I was winded. It was fucking brutal. Last night when I was at my brother-in-law's house on Sunday night, I left not super early. I mean, like it was getting late. I wanted to get my son home too because he doesn't deal well with being out too late. Like my son being on the spectrum does really well with routines, and being out with his cousins and stuff is fun for him, but it's a little bit he doesn't do well if he gets overly excited and stays up too late. He ends up having a rough day the next day, and he knows that, so he wasn't even complaining about it. But yeah, we had a good weekend celebrating Thanksgiving. And for us, Thanksgiving isn't about sticking it to Indigenous people. I have Audacity, Dave. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I have that, and I guess I could download these into my computer and stuff. And I don't know if I can download them. I'm not sure that I can download them the way they are now. Like I'm gonna have to pay for it to do it. And you know what? Like if things get a little easier when I get back to work, I'll buy this, and for $15. I mean, it's just like, it costs more than that to buy a burger on the road if I get stuck out there, right? So I can download them. Okay. Yeah, tone, notes, tempo. Yeah, and you know what? I don't mind them the way they've been made. And what it's been doing is just sort of automatically making two of each one. And some of them I like both, and some of them I like one way more than the other. So I'm gonna gotta listen to them again. The Roger That 10-4, which was the one I wrote about Roger from Mud Fossil, was kind of a cool one to make. The one of them, they start with like this sort of like monotone sort of voice, and then it switches. Where the thumb is it? Download. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's how you do. Okay. Because I figured out that I could send them to someone. Like I sent a couple of to Dr. Tapioca, Dr. Tapioca Weasel. I sent him a couple of them because I've shared them with him, like it just as the text, and he's heard me sing them, and he's like, "Oh man, you're a fucking terrible singer." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a terrible singer, but no, who else is gonna do it?" So this kind of like, it's kind of interesting for me to do this. So yeah, and I like, if somebody wants to like take me to task on something, I'd like to argue about stuff that I believe is true, that I believe is comporting with reality. So I don't talk about some of this stuff a lot, but I guess one of the big things I've said today, and I stand by it, is that rich people need poor people a whole lot more than poor people need rich people. And because the thing is, poor people can lead and organize all sorts of things. Just because you've been lucky enough to land in a pile of horseshoes with a good idea and financial backing, or because you started it with financial backing. I was listening to somebody talk about this. This is an important point. I'm going to end on this point. Some people who have great riches because they started out with them, and they've been able to afford to fail multiple times. And the thing is, most of us, if we fail one time, we're destitute. And that's one of the things that bugs me about the way society is run. And it's not that capitalism is necessarily wrong. Like, I think it makes sense that you have a system where people can build a business, sell services and products, and make money on it. That totally makes sense to me. I absolutely believe in that, and I think that's worth keeping in mind, that's a good way to do things. But when people hoard so much money and don't put it back into the system, that's great for them, and they can send their money around. But I consider stock markets to be basically just a form of gambling, that it's been given some sort of ridiculous veneer, and what it needs is a shellacking, I think. in general. Like we have these trade commissions and stuff like that, and securities commissions that look after keeping it fair and safe and whatever. But you know what? It is just gambling. I mean, you're throwing your money into something that might work and might not. And the thing that bugs me most about it is that speculation and rumor affects it as much as reality does, and maybe even more so, which is kind of shitty, right? Um, having money tied up in something that can tank with bad information, kind of, it's just kind of a mind fuck in my mind. But that being said, it's a big industry. Lots of people make money in it, and I'm not even saying that there shouldn't be markets for companies to raise capital, which is what it is. Ostensibly, that's what it's supposed to be. But I think what it ends up becoming is it's kind of a big roulette table, um, and that's something that, like, people that are in the markets, they'll if you read business papers, you'll talk about people that are overvaluing companies or undervaluing companies, and the undervalued ones are the ones who invest in because eventually someone will figure it out. Well, that's fucking awesome, right? But bottom line is, no matter what it is you do, and people are trying to say, well, like AI will take over. I've been using AI to make this music, right? But the thing is, like, and people say, like, well, you're taking money away from a musician. I'm taking fuck all away from a musician. I had $0 to pay a musician, and I paid $0 for this, and the $0 went to whoever wrote this. Like, a coder is making a bit of money if I invest in this, and if not, I'm goofing around with it and finding it fun. I do the same thing with my AI art, and that's the thing is the the thing is, if I had great riches, what I would do is I would hire a real musician to do this. I would love to do that. And you know what I'd love even more than that is, like, to collaborate with some musicians and put it together. If people find fun, interesting, entertaining the things that I say and do, I mean, I hope that they do and they can come and enjoy it. And I like to play with words and shit like that. Is kind of what I'm doing. So I've had an idea. I told my wife about it on the weekend, and she's not sure if it's a good idea or not, but she's not being unsupportive. And I might start doing this. And if I start doing it, I'll start sharing about it. So I enjoy writing, and some people enjoy my writing, and so I think that's important. Um, that I know that people say that, and um, so this, I don't know why this thing keeps doing this. I keep getting these notifications on the computer. It wants me to do shit when I'm in the middle of doing something. I don't want it to do that. It fills up the screen and covers up where people are talking to me. So I do appreciate that people come by and listen to what I have to say. So what I'm thinking about doing is writing a book. I'm going to write a book about living with obesity, and I'm going to write it with a combination of storytelling about things I've been through. Um, but I'm also going to add in there some tips and tricks, things that people can do to make their lives easier. And rather than, like, write a diet book and a food book and stuff like that, I'm just going to write a book about how to handle these things and how to advocate for yourself and how to live in a larger body with some acceptance of that, without ignoring the fact that there are some health implications and things you can do to improve your health, and how to advocate for getting those. I'm not going to write this from the point of view of a doctor or dietitian. I don't think I'm going to write like a cookbook or anything like that. I'm thinking of writing a book just like, be a person that lives in a larger body and handle it. Something along those lines. So I'm gonna stop this, make myself big. I've gone on, like I predicted, 25 minutes longer than I should have, but it's been fun. It's been fun to share this music with people. It's fun for me to make. It's fun for me to write some lyrics. I enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot. Um, and I also enjoy the fact that there's some people to share with my opinions about the world around us. And there's some shitty shit that goes on. We live in a world mired in difficulty. Uh, and the bottom line is, and this is something I've said often. I'm gonna say it again. People tell me I'm wrong. They're like, no, those other people, they don't. They're not like you. They're different. Um, we're not so different. It's a commonly said thing. If you go and meet people in the world, no matter where they're from, you'll find that the little differences, you know, they're really small differences. The different sizes of bodies, the colors of our hair, the melanin in our skin, the religions and cultures we grew up in, the foods we like. They're all pretty small things. They're nice things. They add to things. That's something we should be thankful for. The diversity of the people in our humanity is fantastic. Thank you, Dave, for coming by. I'm wrapping this up, as I said. Just be kind to people and remember, it doesn't matter what gender people are. It doesn't matter what they look like, what they grew up with, and who they are, and all that kind of shit. That's all. It's just basic decoration of who people are. If you think about it, when you wake up in the morning, hopefully you feel refreshed from a night's sleep. You need sleep. You probably enjoy some kind of food or beverage. Hopefully you drink lots of water and lots of caffeine too, if you're into that. I'm a caffeine addict. But you wake up in the morning, you wanna probably wake up to some sort of sense of calmness and stillness and see the world waking up around you. And you go and do what you do with your day. And if you have a family, I hope that they are well. I hope that you all love each other. And that's the thing. If you've got food and shelter and love, those basic things are great things to start with. And we can make a better society for all of that because, food, water, air to breathe, decent shelter, and living in safety. Those are basic fucking things we should all have. And we should be able to add on to that a great deal. And I'm lucky enough to have a great deal more than just those basics. It's hard sometimes. It takes a lot of effort on my part. It takes a lot of resources out of my pocket and puts them out in the world. But that's a good thing too. And when things are wrong, we stand up and say it's wrong and do something different. Be kind to other humans and stand up for what's right. And like I say, if you've got an election coming up wherever you are, vote and vote for your own interests. And by your own interests, I mean the interests of people just like you. All of us. Vote for all of us. Don't vote to make yourself better than everyone else. Vote to make everyone else come up to where you're at. And if you're not at the top, vote to bring yourself up. We can all be doing a lot better. And we can all help each other. We can all be nice. And yes, I'm not nice to flirts. And yes, I have a problem. I'm sorry. If you think the earth is flat, give me a call. Let's have a meeting and figure out why you think that. Bye, everybody. I love you.